This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Super J-Cast presented by MyBookie. I'm Joel Abraham, joined by Damon McDonald. Very exciting day, Damon. It's a big question on everyone's lips. Do my KFC crisps really taste like the Colonel's secret recipe of 11 herbs and spices?
I can hardly wait. They did look delicious. Don't we have other big news though? We have Chris talk. I know.
There's a little New Japan show in the background. We are one match away from G1 Climax 30 entrance, so you're going to get live reactions here on the podcast. We'll stop whatever we're talking about as Sho just throws a flying armbar on Tomohiro Ishii for no reason whatsoever. What a bully.
Yeah.
So, any hot takes on KFC? Are you a fan?
I love KFC, actually. We have dined on KFC for many a year, but I think their quality has definitely dropped over the years. I'll say that. I'll tell you who the new chicken kings are around here, Joel. It's the old Royal Farms. Royal Farms. They are like a convenience store, maybe like a Lawson's or a Family Mart, but in the States, maybe only in the Northeast, and they make some fucking great chicken for just to be in a convenience store in the United States, which you would never get chicken in a convenience store in the United States ever before. So I'm going Royal Farms, but I'm very curious to know how these crisps turn out. I know we're talking, but it seems like we're just kind of wasting time because the match is over. Yano is leaving the ring with that piece of hunky shit KOPW trophy, and not Clark Connors, Gabe Kidd rolling out. We're about ready for some G1 announcements. I'm excited.
Yeah, so we've got one more match after this. It's the Suzuki-gun against Hontai tag match, and then we'll have the announcement. So let's crack open these crisps. This is a collaboration in Thailand between 7-Eleven, Lay's, and KFC. This is original recipe chicken flavour. I'm opening it up now. It's like Christmas, Damon. I'm really excited.
This is it.
All right, I'm going to mute myself while I'm eating the crisp.
No! The best part is hearing your crunch.
Okay. Some ASMR content for you. Going to eat another one just to make sure.
All right. Very crunchy though. They're very crispy. All right, original.
I'll tell you what I can taste.
Yeah, original thoughts.
Okay, I'm getting salt. Definitely taste salt there. Bit of thyme, some basil there, touch of oregano. Maybe is that a bit of celery salt there in the background? Definitely hints of black pepper. A little bit of dry mustards there, bit of paprika tingling on the tongue. Maybe some garlic salt, is that I can sense. Just a touch of ginger, and maybe some white pepper.
Wow.
So, there you go. There's my breakdown of
that
the exact taste.
First of all, you have the most advanced palate of any human being I've ever come in contact with. You can taste every single spice and herb in the product. Second, it reminds me of that Simpsons bit where he's eating sawdust with the groundskeeper. You go, "Do I taste cinnamon?" I'll never tell. It does remind me of that. So, a scale 1 to 10, what would you give it?
A solid 7.
Okay.
I think there are more interesting and exciting flavours of crisps out here in Thailand, in the world. Actually, I'll tell you what I did do earlier in the week, which was a stroke of genius on my part, mixing together a bag of salt and vinegar crisps with a bag of Her's ghost pepper flavoured crisps. And mixing those two together, getting that juxtaposition between the spice and the tanginess, the chili and the vinegar mixed together, it was chef's kiss. It was a moment of inspiration.
Huh. I mean, is the ones that you have right now, would you consider it comparable to that if you were eating a KFC product?
It's been so long since I had basic KFC product, because they do the best KFC here in Thailand. They do rice bowls, so you got your rice, and then on top of the rice, these pieces of like boneless crispy chicken, and it's in this special Thai seasoning, which is popular in the northeast, and it's like a mix of like lime and chili and ground toasted rice powder, which gives us this lovely sour, spicy, smoky, crunchy, wonderful mix of flavors. And then so there's that chicken on the rice, and a bit of shallots and cilantro or coriander, as we call it in the UK, some cucumber, and it's just a wonderful balance of flavors and textures. So it's not often that I actually have the original recipe chicken. So yeah, there we go.
Sounds fucking tremendous. Actually, it makes me hungry for that shit at 6 o'clock in the fucking morning. But I'm ready for that. I would do that. I think the most creative and interesting thing I've eaten this weekend were 9 old fashions. That's probably it. at one sitting. Boy, that didn't go well. But yeah, that sounds delicious, actually. Man, we don't have that around here. I just don't feel like we have that. I live right near major cities, and I feel like I don't have that kind of creativity when it comes to not only just snacks, but just with fucking regular meal. Like I couldn't get what you just described. I get nowhere. I can get a good fucking sandwich though. I will say that. But even then, it just becomes like, oh, okay, another great sandwich. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, oh, okay. I know I live in an area where I can get the greatest sandwiches and I can get the greatest pizza in my mind. But it's like, okay, can I get something different? Can I get a little change of pace here? And we can't. We have no. I feel like we have no international flair where I live. Like I don't feel like we do a good representation of cuisine throughout the world. I don't feel that. Thank you.
Thanks for the TED Talk. Yeah, I must say, despite me being stuck here in Bangkok when I should be in Xiamen in China, this is probably one of the best cities in the world to be stuck in terms of the food, at least. Like, there's nothing really that you can't get in Bangkok. It's got to be one of the foodie capitals of the world. So, I might be stuck here, but I am putting on a lot of weight. So,
trust me, for me. Don't even fucking don't. I mean, it's ridiculous at this point. I mean, it's not as bad as I think I've lost a little bit of weight, but not nowhere near what I need to. Any update? I know our listeners are concerned, Joel. We haven't heard an update in quite a while. What is the stat? Again, let's keep in mind for some of the newer listeners, Joel has not been in his house, in his home, where he actually resides, since Wrestle Kingdom. Joel, can you give us an update of how likely it is for you to return before the end of G1?
My school have already started bringing some of my colleagues back from abroad, but they're only allowed to bring people back in batches. They can't bring everyone in one go, and they are bringing back the single teachers first, basically the teachers with no dependents, which makes sense. You know, that's fair enough. If the government say, right, you can bring back 5 people, it wouldn't make sense to bring back me and my non-teaching wife and my daughter. So we're going to come back in batches, but given that I have 2 dependents, I'm probably going to be quite low down on the list. So I'm setting myself for another couple of months at least, hoping to be back before the end of the year. That would be nice.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm just trying to... You're living it, so I don't need to keep rubbing salt into an open wound, but...
Or rubbing the Colonel's blend of 11 secret herbs and spices in the wound.
Right. But... you haven't been home for a fucking... This entire calendar year has been... Like, when you left for Wrestle Kingdom, could you ever imagine this happening?
No, and the whole thing with me and Mally left China to have the baby in Bangkok, which was always our plan. But when we left, it was like in the middle of the Chinese lockdown, when COVID was getting really bad there. So we kind of thought, we're managing to like quote unquote escape from China at an optimum time. Little did we know that they would be closing the borders behind them and not letting us return. I did not see that as a possibility. I thought I'd be there for maybe a couple of months at most, but life takes unexpected turns. But again, I really can't complain. Like, the place we live in is very comfortable. I'm still getting paid. I still get to do my job. Mally and Esther healthy, happy, and we got G1 Climax announcements to look forward to. So again, I'm going to try and be thankful for what I've got.
Good for you. I like your attitude. It is better than mine, because I would have ran into oncoming traffic, I think, after the second week. Just kidding. I don't think oh my God, I can't imagine. I think of everything that I've gone through in the year, yet you still haven't been home yet. And I don't know. I think a lot of our listeners do acknowledge that, and they care about you and they want you to be safe. But man, sometimes I think that every time we do a show, you're doing it from a room that is, a second home at this point, which is very weird. Doki with a big fucking kick to the face on Holma, who looks terrible, to be honest with you. God almighty. Why do they keep trotting this guy out in the ring? He was
campaigning for a spot in the G1.
Oh,
Can you imagine?
All right, so are we going to do some early predictions first, or are we just going to go right into the announcements? Do we have any thoughts before final thoughts before we get the announcements?
Well, I can recap the picks we made last week. So we said Okada, Naito, Sanada, Shingo, Ibushi, Tanahashi, Evil, Zack, Taichi, Ishii, Goto, Yano, Jay White, Jeff Cobb, Juice Robinson, Will Ospreay. We had a question mark over Kenta, and then those remaining 3 spots that we figured were going to be vacated by Moxley, Archer, and Fale, we picked Suzuki, Yoshihashi, and Hiromu.
Right.
And we had Sho as a question mark if Kenta wasn't in.
Okay. Do we know a status of Kenta as of yet? Have we heard any news?
We'll have to wait.
Oh,
it's not going to be too long, Damon.
Yeah, I know.
It's like you can see your Christmas presents under the tree.
Right.
And you want to peek. Mum and Dad aren't here.
Right.
You want to sort of peel back the wrapping paper and check.
Right. Come on, we could text somebody, right? They're up. They'll give us something. Do you think we're going to get any surprises? I'm saying no.
No.
And
so surprises in like new signings or people from outside of New Japan? No chance.
No chance. Okay. Nobody. No Japanese residents that are looking for work in these troubling times. They're not going to throw them a bone, chuck him in G1. Correct?
Not for me.
Okay. All right. I don't think so either. I think they have if from what we understand, the people are back, who we believe are back. Then they got a stacked lineup. lineup. Is there anyone that you think is on the bubble right now?
I'm reluctant to talk about it because any of these talking points are just going to be null and void in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, let me ask you this, Damon. Were you a fan of King of the Hill? You know, the cartoon?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I'm going to say a fan, but if it were on, I'd leave it on. I wouldn't actively turn it off.
Did you know that the tag team of Tanahashi and Kenzo Suzuki, they were called King of the Hills, they got the name from the TV show, the cartoon?
I did not know that. They actually have one of my favorite lines of all of, you know how like you have little jokes in the house and just, things stick around for a long time and you constantly say the line. And we have that in our home. We have the line of, I have propane in my urethra. Because that's what he said that once and I laughed my head. I have propane in my urethra.
This is from the Aces High series that's ongoing on the New Japan website. So Tanahashi's talking about the name and he says it was Kenzo's idea. The idea was to be this top of the mountain kind of image. And it turned out he was watching some American cartoon with a similar name. Probably in the end of it all, it was a little bit ironic and self-deprecating, but it didn't really stick anyway. So there you go, an interesting bit of trivia to start us off.
Yeah, he's like, Bobby, we're tagging up. That's pretty good. Oh, Zach locking it in. I'll tell you, I never get bored of watching Zach. I'm sorry, I just don't. Even though, again, it does feel like he's taking the back seat here in this tag team and in this entire feud. But all right, so again, we're trying to watch this match to wait for it to end because it is Christmas morning. We are waiting for G1 announcements, and we'll have them to you as soon as we get them. We'll have live reactions.
Dave, I asked if you had seen the listened to the Tama's Island podcast, because I don't usually recommend other podcasts, but that one is really, really interesting. Different topic each week, but they did a great episode about the sponsor culture in Japan, where you have these, I don't know if it's fair to call them like super fans, where when you travel to the country, they look after you, take you out for dinner, take you out for drinks, and then you reciprocate that if they come to your home country. But I don't know if you got a chance to listen to that, Damon, but absolutely fascinating insight there.
Give us, you hear about it a lot if you're a fan of Japanese pro wrestling. It's you do hear about that from the people who go over for tours and how well they're taken care of, with meals and with gifts and with drink and maybe with other things as well. But yeah, it's an amazing thing, and I don't know how. I mean, I guess you have to have a little bit of money to be able to do that. But I remember where it was a time when I was over there, and Stan Hansen was over there. And there were, he had his sponsors. It was obvious because, they were hanging around Stan Hansen dressed with like Texas jackets, pretty much carting them around. It seemed like, we need that for us when we go. Oh yeah, I kind of actually do. I mean,
Manabu really looked after us last time with providing us with one of every flavour of Strong Zero and some nice Japanese snacks. That was great. I love that.
We have a few actually. We have a few that come to mind. But yeah,
Fraser treats us well every time we're over there.
Yeah, I mean that would be the one that comes to mind for me. I've heard nothing but good things about his podcast, and that's something I definitely want to check out because I usually don't spend a lot of time listening to other podcasts, just even in general, on other things. But yeah, he gets everyone that I talk to seems to enjoy it and seems to get a little bit something out of it that maybe they want to get other places. So I heard he was making candles, Joel.
No, that was Tangaloa that was making the scented candles.
Okay. I get it mixed up.
What a guy. I would love to smell Tangaloa's scented candle. That sounded really rude. I genuinely wanted to smell the candle. I like scented candles. What about manga? Are you a fan of manga, Damon? Japanese comic books.
Comic books. Well, I don't have a problem with them, but they're just, I can't read the language, so it's kind of hard for me to fucking get involved in something I can't understand. Kind of like everything in life. But are they just comic books, or is there something that separates Magnum from comic books?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm not an expert. The reason I ask you is because there's a big manga announcement from at Yen Press revealing the New Japan Academy. It's the stars of New Japan Pro Wrestling as you've never seen them before. Teenager Tetsuya Naito is aiming for the top of New Japan Academy, but to be the champ, he'll have to face the greats. Available on digital platforms October 2020. So, again, I'm not a huge fan of manga or graphic novels or that. I see the value in it, but I am definitely interested in checking out New Japan Academy when that hits the stores in October.
I want to say geared toward kids, but they're a lot of them aren't. It's like I'm talking at my ass because I really don't know a lot about it. I'm surprised they haven't done that sooner. It doesn't really feel like it fades out of fashion. It's always a staple over there. And I would have thought they would have had something like this already.
It could be that this is pre-existing and this is just a translation of it, but I couldn't tell you with any real authority.
Yeah, we are the Japanese video game experts, so we'll let you know when.
Oh yeah, have you played any more Final Fantasy VII?
All right.
Doki's just eating a Kamigoye. I think we're getting close. But Final Fantasy VII.
We're hitting a closing stretch on this tag match. Yeah, we are. A lot of my video gaming has been centered around NHL 94, 95 because there's this whole pocket of fandom that has like literally opened up new ideas and thoughts and things about it. So it's been there. So I have not dipped my toes back into Final Fantasy, even if, as I promised. All right, so here we go. So Kota Ibushi just laid out Doki. I don't know how far behind I am from you. I feel like I'm on a bit of a delay. So,
are you watching on your phone, or have you got it on your computer?
I got it on my computer.
I would recommend pulling it up on your phone because
really?
I find when I watch New Japan World on my phone, it's more up to date than if I'm watching it on my browser. Don't know why that is, but yeah, it's just one of those little things that I've noticed.
All right.
I've got more news.
All right, let's do more news. Let me know. You just jump in because I might be a little bit behind, but we'll make it work.
All right, a bit of news on the ticketing situation in Japan, as Japan plans to relax a rule limiting the size of crowds at professional sports, music and other events later this month. So, under the current rule, venues are allowed to hold up to 50% of their capacity, or up to a total of 5,000 people, but the government's planning to scrap the 5,000 person cap as early as September 19th, according to sources. So, I guess that would only really affect Wrestle Kingdom, but do you think New Japan would run with 20,000 capacity Tokyo Dome, or do you think they would postpone it and wait until they can do a full house?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know what kind of deal they get on the dome. It would just have to be something that's cost effective. I mean, I'm sure that it's an expensive building to run. 20,000. I mean, do you do it just for tradition's sake? Do you just hang on to it and just say, okay, it is what it is. Everybody acknowledges it. This is not about interest, right? This is not about people not being, caring about our product anymore. This is, I don't think they bury their heads in the sand and ignore that, a pandemic is the cause for 20,000 people in this building. I say run it. I mean, cost considerations aside, I say run it. Do it. Keep it. Give it some. I hate to say give it some normalcy but it might be exactly what people need. If they can, again, I'm not spending their money. But if it's a possibility, I say go for it. Why not? You know what I mean? Why not?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think it would be a shame just for posterity to have a January 4th without a Tokyo Dome show. So, again, a lot of things could change between now and January 4th. Things could get better, things could get worse. So, a lot of moving parts. But I think if they're waiting until everything's back to normal, then, you've no idea how long you're going to be waiting then. So, I think if push comes to shove, they would rather have a 20,000 Tokyo Dome than no Tokyo Dome.
100% agreed. 100% agreed. All right, so Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Can someone tell these guys just fuck off, get out of the ring?
Yeah, they really are milking
they've
us.
won the friggin' World Cup. It's a multi-man tag match. Piss off.
I mean, they are milking this for no end. All right.
All right, here we go.
All right, here
Starting.
we go.
I've got the Twitter open, Damon. I've got to fire the tweet out with the announcements.
Yeah.
I can get all those delicious likes and retweets that earn me absolutely nothing.
Yeah. All right, here we go. That's dead air. I'll try and fill
it. My heart's pounding. This is
I know,
so
mine is too. It's an exciting time. All right, here we are.
Okay. Tell us what you can see.
Well, right now I see a little promo video. I see Goto. I see Ibushi and Naito. They're going through some old history. G1 Climax 30. And here we go. It looks like we're going to get some announcements. All right. Kota Ibushi.
And they're giving us the blocks as well.
Yes.
So.
A block is Kota Ibushi. No surprise.
Right, if you hear typing, that's me firing off the tweets. Right. So apologies for that.
All right. Next up.
Ooh.
Of course, Hiroshi Tanahashi in B block. So it looks like they're going back and forth. All right, so far Ibushi, Tanahashi in B.
We've got a tasty rematch here.
Yeah.
Tokyo Dome rematch.
It looks like it. Okada, if we're going back and forth, is in A block. Ibushi, Okada, A block. Nice. All right. Again, no surprises here, of course. Tomohiro Ishii will be in B block. Oh, no, A block. They're not going back and forth. So it's Ibushi, Okada, Ishii in A. Okay.
A block's looking pretty tasty so far.
A block, yeah, looking like. All right, Hiroki Goto. It's like the ping pong ball. Where's it going to fall? A or B? A or B? It's B. All right, so Tanahashi and Goto so far announced for B block. Looks like they're saving a spot at the top there for B block. All right. Everyone's favorite, Toru Yano.
No surprises so far.
No. In B block. In B block. The way that they're throwing out the names, though, they're leaving a spot at the top. So they're filling up.
They're making us sweat for the foreigners, aren't they?
They really are. All right, Yoshihashi. Yoshihashi is in. Well,
we called it. I mean, he is a never six-man champion. He's earned the right to be there.
All right. B block. B block. Yeah, they are teasing us because there's 2 blocks at the top that are not being used. All right. Shingo Takagi in. A block. Ooh. Joel, A block's looking fucking sexy already.
No. I know.
All right. Next up. Sonata. They're going to chuck him in B. They sure are. B block. Ooh, B block's looking. All right.
It'll get better, I'm sure.
Okay, I hope so. There we are. Here's our world champion, Tetsuya Naito. In B block.
So he's been kept away from Okada.
Yeah.
Let the record show that.
Let the record show he is kept away from Okada. Former champion, Evil, Bullet Club member. Is he an A or B? B block. Oh. So Naito and Evil in the same block. All right. They haven't announced a... oh, no. Yujiro Takahashi.
Yeah, there we go. I was waiting for that.
Oh. In A block. Well, he's eating some fucking pins there, that's for sure. A block. And again, they're not filling these in order. They're moving them all around. Oh, there we go. Zack Sabre Jr. All right. In, I'm going to say B block. There he is, B block.
Still no one from overseas.
No one from overseas. All right. Taichi in. No real surprise there. I say A block, right? Yep, A block. There you go. A block's still looking like the sexier block to me. I'm going to be honest with you. All right. Next up, Minoru Suzuki is in. I know that's something people were clamoring for. A little upset that there was a possibility he would not be. And he is in A block.
With Taichi, we've got Suzuki versus Taichi to look forward to.
That's correct. That is correct. There it is. There's our first one. Juice Robinson.
First of our pastrami sandwich boys. They're in.
They're in.
It's 1 out of 4.
Yep. B block. B block. So a little pastrami for you guys. Juice is in. B block. Next up, our second slice of pastrami sandwich. Jeff Cobb is in G1 in the A block. A block, Jeff Cobb. All right, let's see if we get some more sandwich, Joel. Ooh. We kind of, not really. A little surprising because we thought he was not going to make it. Kenta fills out block B. All right. So that means you'll get Kenta Evil. And again, another slice of delicious sandwich for us. In A block, Will Ospreay.
That's 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4. And then the last spot Any surprises? No. But it is a sandwich for us. The Switchblade Jay White.
Are you telling me, Damon, that we got 4 out of 4 on those pastrami sandwiches? That is unbelievable, isn't it? It keeps happening. It's
keeps
bizarre.
Happening and happening. We're never wrong. We're not wrong. If we say it, fucking it's true. Although, I guess they got Kenta in. That's good. That's good too. That was the one that we were a little bit unsure of, but okay. All right, so how we feeling, Joel? That's A block looks fucking tight. I'm not gonna lie. A block looks really solid. B block looks good, but I think everybody's looking at that A block and their fucking pants are down for that one.
Any matches jumping off the page to you? Because I'm looking at A block. I'm thinking we're getting a rematch from Wrestle Kingdom, Ibushi Okada. That should be great. Shingo versus Okada. We're getting Shingo versus Ospreay again.
We're getting Ishii. Ishii Will. We're getting Ishii Okada. Ishii Shingo. I mean, just that alone. My fucking pants are down. And let's be truthful. Ishii's had some pretty great matches with Taichi, right? Those haven't been terrible matches. They're usually really good. I'm trying to look for gems in B block. What do you think the sexiest match in B block is? Tanahashi Naito?
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen that, and I speculated that there was a match they were protecting, and I wonder if they're protecting that for another block final.
Yeah. I mean, I hear, and again, some of the biggest takeaways. Okada, Naito, they're kept apart.
That's what I'm looking at. I'm thinking finals. Who are we looking at for finals here?
Man, that fucking A block is Joel. Suzuki's in there, man. Suzuki's going to have some fucking great matches in there.
I seriously, I cannot wait for that Suzuki Taichi match.
That A block,
the tension in Suzuki-gun. A lot of people say that Taichi's the real leader now.
Yeah. You know what? That's a great point. I didn't even consider that. This is going to be one of the big time matches. Juice. I mean, we'll see Juice and Tanahashi. I think that'll be really good. I think Juice and Naito will be good. Whoo-wee. And even guys that are going to take falls in, again, I keep pointing at A block, and I probably should recognize B block a little bit more. But man, I just can't fucking get my attention past A block. Jeff Cobb's in A block. Jeff Cobb has some guys who can do what we like. He has some dance partners that are a good fit, don't you think? Ibushi?
Yeah, absolutely.
Shingo? Ishii? This is. What are you giving this?
How does it stack up for you compared to last year? So, I mean, let's look at who's out compared to who's in. So, I'm trying to do level comparisons here. So, you tell me if you upgrade, downgrade, or a wash. Okay. So, we've got Moxley or Suzuki.
For me, personally, Suzuki. And that's not to say that having Mox in there would be, a downgrade by... I just prefer it. I mean, listen, it's G1. I want to see Suzuki in it.
Bad Luck Fale or Yujiro?
I mean, Yujiro's in here to fucking lie down to a lot of people.
How many points is he getting? 4?
Yeah, I was like 2, between 2 and 4. His ceiling is 4 in this, right? Watch him get like fucking 10. Be like, what the fuck? I would say 4 is the ceiling, right? 4 is the ceiling. I would say Takahashi is an upgrade.
And then it would be Lance Archer or Yoshihashi. I prefer Lance, given a straight choice, but not that much in it. I mean, my appreciation of Yoshihashi has grown this year. I would have much rather had a Hiromu or a Sho or a Despy in there, but seeing as they've gone all heavyweight, can't really argue with that.
How about Tanahashi Kenta?
Yeah, it seems that they've put all like the high-paced work rate guys in A block, but B block are the guys who are going to slow things down a bit and tell you more of a story in the ring.
Jay White's on
even
the
like
other side.
a Tanahashi versus Evil. That's one that interests me.
Yeah, I think Zach Kenta interests me. I think Kenta Tanahashi interests me. I think for whatever reason, I'm really fucking pumped for Juice Tanahashi. I mean, we'll get Evil Naito again. I don't know if anybody's doing fucking cartwheels for that. I mean, just the history there is pretty interesting. I can't say I'm like. Are you excited over any of the Sonata possibilities?
I don't recall ever seeing Sonata versus Naito. That is one that interests me. Just in terms of who's going to win.
Yeah. Yeah. Goto feels like he's had a taste of just about everybody. We still haven't even talked about Jay White in Block A.
I'm so excited about him being back.
Right? I mean,
I've missed him.
I mean, that's a nice little mix. I'm kind of glad that he's there, and Will Ospreay.
I'll tell you what's interesting, that they kept Jay White and Evil separate.
Yeah. I'm looking at this A. Again, just so we're clear here. A block has Ibushi, Cobb, Okada, Ishii, Ospreay, Shingo, Suzuki, Taichi, Jay White, and Yujiro. Disappointed that you didn't see Hiromu.
Yeah, they picked the wrong Takahashi. Maybe that was a clerical error. They just put Takahashi on there. Okay, yeah, there we go. Yujiro Takahashi.
Right. I'm a little disappointed in the lack of juniors. I think my only finger wag is that the lack of juniors. They drew the hard line in the sand when it came to heavyweights. That's my only finger wag at this, Joe. Aside from that, there is no one else on this roster that is missing.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is there anyone who you think are notable exclusions from this? Because what about
Yuji
David Finlay? Well, I was thinking
Finlay.
David Finlay. The reason I said that, I was talking to Nicole earlier about this, and the fact that they brought Jeff Cobb in, and they would have had to, use some loopholes there, because he's obviously not a resident of Japan. The fact that they brought him in, and not a David Finlay, speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It really does. How about Hanare?
Yeah, I would. Hanare is even behind David Finlay in the pecking order. I mean, David Finlay is a guy who won the World Tag League. They won the tag titles, and a lot of people were excited and thought, "Oh yeah, maybe this is finally going to be an elevation for David Finlay." But seems not. I mean, the question to ask: would he have been in it in a non-COVID world? I don't even know about that.
All right. Yeah, I think if we're looking at people that were on the bubble. David Finlay. I mean, every year, poor Hanare tweets out, I'll be there fucking next year. You looked over me again. But the only name that I would even remotely consider removing would be Takahashi. And Jeff Cobb. I mean, there is a valid complaint there that they went through some hoops to get Jeff Cobb. Now, again, maybe there was something in the background that we don't know about where they couldn't get the other guys in and have them quarantine and all that stuff, right? Maybe that's the case. And they said, okay, well, we can get Jeff Cobb in. Right? So maybe he was a plan C to get in. But, if we're talking pastrami sandwiches, that was a name that was given to us a little bit ago, right? So, all right.
I must say I'm shocked that they didn't put Yujiro in the same block as Naito, because I wanted to see the Team No Limit go at it again. I mean, a lot of people are going to wring their hands about Yujiro being in it, and I certainly would have preferred to have like a Sho or Hiromu in the blocks instead of him. But maybe it's unfair to judge him by the quality of the Okada feud when Okada was basically sleepwalking through it. I think it's fair to say. So now we've got Yujiro in matches against people who are likely to be able to put the effort in and carry him to more interesting matches.
Yeah, and again, look at that A block. I mean, who the fuck's lying down in that block? You gotta have.
I tell you, I think a lot of Twitter will be very happy if Yujiro happens to beat Will Ospreay.
Oh, no doubt. I
think we've got to talk about the Ospreay thing. I do feel the need to acknowledge it because
okay,
there's a lot of controversy about his inclusion, given his involvement in that really ugly situation, which involved him defending a friend who was accused of rape, and then going on to blackball the accuser, Pollyanna, from further wrestling bookings, which I believe has been confirmed by one promotion at least. So some people might look at that as Will sticking up for a friend that he believes, but that also creates an environment that might dissuade victims of rape or sexual assault from speaking out in the future. And as always, there's a much bigger discussion to be had here that I don't feel well informed enough to do. And I know he didn't break any laws, but there are plenty of very, very bad things that people do on a regular basis that also aren't illegal. So I think we can do better than that as a society. Like, not breaking the law doesn't give you a pass. That shouldn't be the benchmark for how we judge things. And I mean, rightly or wrongly, he's going to continue working for New Japan. He's in the G1, and that does mean we're going to continue discussing his matches. I mean, I'm certainly not going to be falling over myself to praise his work like I did last year, because I do have issues with the way he's conducting himself, but I'm not going to refuse to cover his matches. So if that disappoints some of you, then I apologise. I don't feel good about it, but I felt that it's necessary to address the elephant in the room going forward, Damon.
Fair. I think that's fair. I feel the same way. So I think you said it better than I could. So there's that. All right, good.
So getting the Super J-Cast gun to your head, Damon, give me who you think the block finalists are going to be.
Whoosh. To me, I think Okada's in the final. B block, I don't think it's necessarily Naito.
So sticking with A block, if we think Okada's in the final, who do you think he is pipping to get there? It's hard to look past Ibushi again, and I know Okada Ibushi was the block final last year, but again, it's hard to look past that. There are other that would be quite mouthwatering on paper, like Okada Shingo going into the final night.
How about Ospreay?
I don't think Ospreay's going to have enough points to be in the mix there. Or you could do Okada Jay White as the block final.
You could, but keep in mind,
Ibushi or Jay White would be my pick.
I mean, weren't we building originally for Ospreay to finally get that win over Okada?
Yes.
Wasn't
don't know
this
if it would be this year?
Well, yeah, I was about to say, was it supposed to be this year that he got over that hump of coming close last time?
Well, he could get that win over him in the middle of the tour.
He could, or he could get it at the end when it's really impactful.
I can't see Ospreay going through to a G1 final.
No, he looks like a heavyweight now.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you're right. I can't rule it out. I just see Okada, Ibushi, Jay White there, and it's hard to look past those three.
I think we're
talking finalists.
I think I'm guilty of looking over Jay White. I definitely think I'm looking over Jay White.
Because remember, that was a match they were going to do in the New Japan Cup in its original form. We were going to get Okada versus Jay White in the first round.
Give me your top guys in A block. Give me your top three.
What, in terms of how I think they're going to be ranked by points at the end of this?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd say Okada at the top, and maybe Jay White and Ibushi falling just behind.
Okay, I'm saying Okada, Jay White, Ospreay. I think Ospreay's in the mix. I really do. I think he's going to be. I think they did what they did for a reason. I think he's going to be in the mix to the very end. To the very end. But I still say where Okada gets out of that alive, and I'll tell you what's even harder. I think B's even harder.
Yeah, because I know I keep banging on about Tanahashi, Naito, but I can't see Tanahashi getting enough points where he's in contention on the final night, because the whole story they're telling with him is that, he's well on his way to becoming a dad and he can't hang anymore. So for him to then be rocking up to the final B block night with 12 points or whatever would be a bit strange. So,
but that's where he always redeems himself. Right? The big show, the big moment. Like, okay, he may not be Hiroshi Tanahashi in fucking February. Come G1, he tapes up what he needs to tape up. He fucking takes his Advil and he gets his ass in the ring and he performs. And he wins.
I think we're looking at some dark horses in B block. I hate to say it, but I'm leaning towards Evil as the winner of B block, or maybe even a Sanada.
Sanada. We want to go
So
down.
I'm just thinking that Evil against Okada as the G1 final, because I think they have to consolidate Evil's elevation in the card. You can't have him finishing with 8 points. He's got to be at least in contention when you come into the final night, surely.
Yeah, I think Evil's in the mix. I think Naito's in the mix. He's your champion. He's not going to be not in the mix. And then it's two others that are in the mix. Final night. And I think you have to put Kenta in there.
And Sanada, I would say.
Ugh. I'll say Tanahashi in that role. So Kenta Evil, Tanahashi Naito, which can make sense. I mean, you got two Bullet Club guys going for it, and they'll probably be paired off against Evil, Naito, Kenta, Tanahashi, and then a mix of those two go to the finals, right? The problem is that I don't think Naito goes to the finals. I don't think you're going to see Okada Naito in the final.
No, you don't usually have the champion in the final.
Right. So who's beating Naito to set up a title challenge? Evil again? That's your question.
Sanada?
So every year it's got to be, you know what I mean? Every year it's the same fucking, Well,
look, okay, let me just add the caveat here that
Zach?
we do have. Let me just say there's a Power Struggle announced for November the 7th. That tour begins October 23rd in Korakuen, so that's 5 days after the G1 final, and they're doing Saitama, Chiba, Yamagata, Fukushima, Ibaraki. They're doing Korakuen for 2 nights, Shizuoka and Kochi. So we are going to have, it looks like, at least one more quote-unquote big show. The next big show afterwards would be Power Struggle November 7th at Edion Arena. So I don't know if they are going to do any more title defenses, IWGP title defenses for Naito between now and Wrestle Kingdom, but maybe Power Struggle could be one of them. So again, we're looking for someone in this block to possibly get a win over Naito and have a claim for a title shot between the end of the G1 and Wrestle Kingdom.
I think that's a definite, right? I mean, Naito's not going undefeated. Right? He's going to lose to somebody, and usually it's... I mean, I can't say usually, but let's just assume that it's later in the tournament, and it's going to be one of those people in B block is going to pin Naito and get a title shot. I think it's a safe bet, right? Who's winning? Who's pinning Naito? Juice? No, right?
You wouldn't think Kenta, because he's already had his title match with Naito this year.
Right.
Could be Zack.
Think Zack? I don't think Yoshihashi. They would never do that. Yano, no. How about Goto?
Could be.
Goto's a guy that's always in the mix, and if, especially now, people kind of get warmed up to Goto.
It's a very even block, isn't it, B block?
It is.
I suspect there's not going to be too much of a range of points there between the bottom and the top.
And I can't see any surprises. Like, okay, so if you look at A block, I mean, you could argue that if Taichi gets a win over Suzuki, that's a major rattling of New Japan fandom. If Ospreay beats Okada, that's a major shakeup. I don't feel that way on B block. Like the only guy that I would feel like, okay, that's a major shakeup would be Juice getting a win over fucking Naito. Right? There's nothing comparable to the idea of a guy getting a big time win to move them up a level, to make them more of a big gun. You have a lot of those possibilities in A, it feels like. I don't think you got those in B. I think that's the one thing that's missing in B block is that element of you got guys in A, again, Taichi, Ospreay, that could pull off a big win to become bigger than... Listen, we're forgetting about Shingo in this, too. Shingo could definitely be put in that category, don't you think?
Yes. I don't know. It's really hard to tell because I don't know to what extent the management at New Japan look at him as a Dragon Gate guy.
I mean, for what it's worth, they gave him a little run with the Never title. I thought that was one of the most interesting things of fucking 2020 so far.
A lot of people have held the Never title, to be fair. It's not one of the more prestigious titles in New Japan.
No. I mean, yeah, I get it. I understand. But, but what he did with it was, I thought, again, you think Shingo had a great 2020? Of course he did.
Oh, yeah. He's in the conversation for Wrestler of the Year. Or
right.
New Japan Wrestler of the Year, at least. That qualifier apparently is necessary on the Super J cast.
Right. But, yeah, I mean... All right, so we've.
I genuinely don't know, Damon. This is. I love the fact that it's not, screaming at you. The final is going to be this guy beating this guy.
They haven't announced shows yet, have they? Do we know?
Yeah,
when...
that is no. They haven't given the matches and the dates yet because that is usually kind of a spoiler, isn't it? Because you go straight and you look and see what the lineup is for Sumo Hall for the penultimate 2 nights. And then you can say, oh, well, it's going to be between these 2 guys.
Right. They usually tip their cards there. So
but then again, I mean, if they give you, for A block, some combination of Ibushi, Okada, Jay White, I don't know, for sake of argument, let's say Shingo, that might be tricky to call. And likewise, if the B block final night, we're looking at a card that involves some combination of Naito, Tanahashi, Evil, and Kenta or Sanada, again, it might not be as easy as I initially thought.
I just had this thought. This is what makes me love pro wrestling. It's this conversation. It's this. So, yep, I got my fucking spreadsheet out. What do you think of that, Dix?
Are we doing pick'ems this year?
Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, we are. This is it. This is what I love. So, whatever. I'm in on this. This, you know what I mean? Like, this is I don't give a shit about.
It's a world away from discussing the fucking KOPW 2020.
Right.
Season,
you know what I mean? Like, this is fucking great.
This is what we're here for, Damon.
This is why we do this show. Let's be very truthful. This is why we do this show. We spent a little time talking about crisps, but however long we spent talking about this, and here's the thing, we could talk about it for another fucking 2 hours. It feels like. This is why I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to do a fucking show. These moments, Christmas morning is what this is. This is what this is. A little disappointed. No, Yuji Nagata. I would have liked to see Yuji Nagata. Is Yuji Nagata?
Well, you know, he said that in 2017 that was going to be his last G1, and I know in the backstage promos he was saying he might change his mind. He would like to be back in it, but that I think was a nice send off for him because everyone knew it was going to be his last G1, and he had that nice moment in the final match against Fale where Fale bowed to him because he was his senpai in the dojo. So that was a really nice send off, and I know a lot of people talked about Kojima as well, but in the same G1 that Nagata retired. So Nagata retired from G1 with 2 points. I think he only got one win. I believe it might have been over Zack. In the other block, Kojima also ended with only one win. Right. So he and Nagata both ended with 2 points. So even though they didn't give Kojima the official "this is your last G1" send-off, the fact that he ended with the same points tally as Nagata signals to me that they saw him on the same level. So to expect healthy Kojima from 2017 ending with 2 points, 3 years later, after a serious knee injury, being in contention is maybe a little bit unrealistic. As much as we love Kojima, I love him, I think he's great, I think he can still go, but just the fact that he finished 2017's G1 with 2 points, I think is something we were overlooking.
Okay, so David Finlay, disappointment, again, for me personally, Hanare as well. Anybody else we missing that should be in this thing that we feel is getting slighted?
If you had a straight choice between Togi Makabe and Yujiro, who are you picking?
Yujiro.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, Makabe was another... 3 guys got left out last year who were in 2018, and that was Makabe, Yoshihashi, Suzuki. Yoshihashi, Suzuki, understandably back in because they are title holders. Makabe isn't, so I just wanted to pick your brains about that. I think, there's not that much in it. I still like Makabe. I thought he was good in the New Japan Cup, but again, I will reserve judgment on Yujiro because when I see on paper things like Yujiro versus Ibushi, Yujiro Ishii, Yujiro Shingo, Yujiro Ospreay, I think there could be some good stuff there.
We're already getting texts of how we doing with our pastrami sandwiches.
When are people gonna wake the fuck up, Damon?
I don't know.
There's a handful of people who get it.
Yeah.
And everyone else is like, but Jeff Cobb's not a resident in Japan.
Right.
He's eating the fucking pastrami sandwich, people. We told you.
I know. I don't know what we can do. I don't know. I don't know if we need a Sky writer. I don't know.
Okay, look. If they don't get it, they don't deserve it.
They don't deserve it. Right.
Call it a day.
Exactly. Right. Just everybody who does get it, just remind everyone. Just send out your tweets and shit. Just remember, we fucking always right. So thank you.
How about this junior tag tournament, Damon? I'm enjoying that a lot.
Really? I mean, we got to go from this greatness to that.
I liked it. I'm
really?
a fan of junior tag team wrestling. I like those belts. I love a tournament. I think this has been good, personally. I think a lot of those guys, of the 8 people involved in that, most of them are better as tag wrestlers, with the possible exception, Hiromu's a better singles wrestler. Despy probably a better singles wrestler as well. But the other 6 guys, I think, are definitely stronger in tag teams. I like the fluidity of the heel and face dynamics. Like, for example, when we had the 2 heel teams, like Suzuki-gun against Bullet Club, Despy became like the de facto babyface in peril against the Bullet Club guys. We had Hiromu healing up against Master Wato when he was doing the Mongolian chops to take the piss out of Tenzan. So I like the way that can change match by match. And they've given these guys plenty of time to work. I applaud the decision to make these matches the co-main and the main event every evening, because that hasn't been the case in years gone by. You know, you would have like your junior tag tournament matches, but then you'd have to have the big stars on top in a multi-man tag. But they haven't done that this year, and they're giving them lots of time to wrestle, and I think it's paying off. I think everyone's working hard. Even Gedo, who I was side-eyeing his inclusion. I know there's not really anyone else, but he's put in, I think, some really good performances. I think he's got good chemistry with Ishimori. I think Ishimori's working harder than usual. I thought their match against LIJ in the main event of the first night was really surprisingly good. I like the Master Wato Taguchi team. I like Taguchi's disgusting hand gestures. They're so filthy that I don't quite know what he's going for there, but I definitely know it's obscene. I don't know if you can shed any light on what he might be doing there, but in this, you know, this is a tag team that from day one, ever since Master Wato came back, I've been saying that, pair him up with Taguchi. He's a veteran who can hold his hands and guide him through and help him grow in confidence, and it's working. I can see Wato increasing in confidence, so give myself a little victory lap there. I thought Wato's exchange with Hiromu was really exciting. That was very high-paced, and Wato was nailing everything. The timing was spot on. It was very athletic. And just having Taguchi there as, you know, the safety mat to, you know, literally tell him what to do next in some parts of the match, I think is a big help to him. And there's also good comedic chemistry between them. There was a really funny post-match interview where Taguchi says to him, "What should we call our team?" And Wato says, 1 or 8, which in Japanese is a phrase that basically means all or nothing. But in English, it just came out as nonsense. And then Taguchi just says, "I'm not following you," and then just grabs him by the shoulder and walks him off the screen. And then there's Tenzan in the background who's corpsing. That was a really funny moment for me. I'm enjoying the LIJ team, Bushiromu. They got a new theme. That rocks. They got matching masks. They got the Kamaitachi masks. I'm enjoying this tournament a lot, Damon.
You are looking on the bright side of life when it comes to this. You certainly are, and that's good. Like, you know, there's no, you know, to point out the positives. But allow me, if you don't mind, to counterpoint some of these. None of these matches are anything that is stickable. Like, these matches are for a tournament for titles that, okay, you could argue the level of what the junior tag titles are. None of these matches are anything that anyone is going to go back in 2020 and put on a best of or a rewatch list or anything like that. We can agree on that, right?
Yes.
Okay. 2. While you did like the heel and face dynamic, that kind of shifted match by match based off of who was in the ring, and I also can appreciate that. Here's what I didn't like, Joel. I know it's a hot button when it comes to heel shenanigans, and specifically, not even heel shenanigans. I don't even mind heel shenanigans. That you're establishing yourself as boo for me. If I see another motherfucking ref bump, Joel, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind. It has become...
I was just going to say, give me an over-under on the number of ref bumps in the G1. Because we've got Yujiro in there, we've got Evil in there, we've got Jay White in there, we've got Kenta in there.
It has become the absolute most lazy booking of any major promotion on God's green earth. Joel, there were at least 3 that I counted in I'm not going to say a meaningless junior tag team tournament match, but do we have to every time he gets in the fucking ring, he's taking some type of bump? Like, is there a promotion on earth that has as many ref bumps as New Japan Pro Wrestling? If there is, let me know. I'm not watching Raw every week. I'm not watching SmackDown every week. So, okay. But I am help me, Joel. Can you name a promotion on God's green earth that does as many lazy, I'm saying it, lazy heel ref bumps and misdirections as New Japan Pro Wrestling?
They are doing it a lot, but I must admit it's not something I noticed being particularly egregious during these tag tournament matches.
It's unnecessary. Just give me one fucking match where we don't see it. Give me one match where Red Shoes gets in that fucking ring and is not, my shoulder. I'm burying my head in the turnbuckle because someone grazed my ankle. Maybe I'm hypersensitive to it. I probably am. I find it to be, at this point, just lazy. Just lazy booking. There's no other way we can establish a heel team than by fucking around with Red Shoes. Doesn't it get tiring after a while? Again, I don't even think the WWE does this to their referees. Their referees are positioned better than New Japan Pro Wrestling's. There. I said it. AEW's referees are positioned better, less of boobs, than New Japan Pro Wrestling. And by boobs, I mean dummies, not boob, you know what I mean? It's unbelievable at this point. And it's gotten beyond hand wave for me at this point. So you take the fact that we got matches that they're good, they're fine, they're your gentlemen's 3 stars. Add constant goofy ref bumps. It's not something that look, positives that you gave me, Master Wato looks much better. And I think him starting out as a tag team wrestler I think is a fantastic thought. I would have no problem with him and Taguchi having those titles. Zero problem. None whatsoever. Bushi, I could put in the bin. Hiromu kind of carrying that team, for me anyway, is always enjoyable. His interactions with Master Wato, I liked. I still like Kanemaru and Despy. I think they're a fantastic tag team. I just think the way that this tournament has been positioned, the fact that the matches haven't really been spectacular. And again, I'm not looking for G1. I'm just looking for something that is somewhat memorable. They all felt the same. They literally felt like interchangeable parts to me. And there really isn't a lot to get excited about for it. For me, anyway, watching these matches so far.
Oh, well, we'll have to agree to differ on that one. At the moment, we are in the middle of the Waguchi or Ass Masters or whatever you're calling them team against Bullet Club. And I'm just looking at the point tallies here. Basically, the top 2 teams will go through to the final at Korakuen on the 11th. Do you have any predictions on which 2 teams you think are going to be contesting the final? Which team do you think is going to win the titles?
Well, what's on this show that I haven't watched? I haven't watched.
So we got Kawato Taguchi against Bullet Club now, and then the main event will be LIJ team against the Suzuki-gun team. And here are the permutations. A Waguchi and LIJ win means a Waguchi and LIJ final. A Waguchi Suzuki-gun win means a Waguchi LIJ final. Bullet Club LIJ win means it's a 3-way tie for second, and a Bullet Club Suzuki-gun win makes it a Suzuki-gun and LIJ final. I've gone cross-eyed.
Yeah, I mean over the junior tag titles. Get a whipping to Gooch, I'm saying. What do you want me to do? You want me to pick a winner? Or
okay, well, I'll tell you who I think.
Just as an FYI, by the way, while here's Red Shoes down on the ground, Here it is. I'm literally what I just
wrong.
complained about.
You're not wrong.
I'm looking right at it right now. Oh, come on.
No, he's
right.
not. He didn't get bumped there. That wasn't a referee.
What is he doing on the ground? Look at him in the corner.
For wrestling, anything you do outside of the ring is perfectly legal. You could get out a gun.
He's on the
and
ground
shoot your
right now.
opponent in the face, and Red Shoes will just be standing in the ring, shaking his head
That's
disapprovingly. Go, bring it back into the ring, guys. Come on, that's not on.
I got no problem with that. Fine. Why is Red Shoes down? He's on his knees in the corner.
Not.
What? What is he sleeping?
No, he's
taking
in the
a
ring.
nap?
He's telling them get it back into the ring, boys.
He was not. He was down on the ground. He was down on the ground.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Fucking unbelievable. Who's all right? I think. Look, let's give the belts to. What is Watto? I don't think. Do you think Watto? This is the question. Is Watto and Taguchi winning these titles? Yes or no?
Eventually, yes, but I don't think they're winning them on the 11th. This is what I see happening. I think Bullet Club are going to win this match. I don't know now. Basically, if Watto and Taguchi win, then that means there's no drama in the next match, because I don't believe, even if Suzuki can win, they can't make it to the final because they lost to Watto and Taguchi. So I don't think they do that. Right. So I am thinking we get a Suzuki-gun and LIJ final, and then Suzuki-gun win the belts, and then you can have Watto and Taguchi chase Despy and Kanemaru for those belts, and maybe that's an undercard match on Wrestle Kingdom.
Okay, that's fair. So in this match here, we need for that to play out. We need Bullet.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, we did get a ref bump. Okay,
there we go. See. Come on, Joe! The fuck?
Yeah,
Seriously?
Red Shoes is not good, is he?
Oh my god, he's bigger than half the people in that fucking ring. Unbelievable. Well, look, what are you gonna? Again, it's just, to me, it just feels so fucking lazy. We can't do anything else besides this. I don't know. All right, again, people don't want to hear me fucking go off about this, but probably giggling under their breath, this maniac yapping about ref bumps. But it's just...
Well, I tell you that our predictions are usually predictions you can take straight to the bank. And talk to us about hot predictions and my bookie, if you would.
Oh, I can. My bookie.
Our favourite sponsors.
Yes, my bookie.
With their little icon on our podcasts.
Did you notice? Did you notice that?
Yeah, Captain Craich did that for us.
Excellent. We're probably getting paid millions for that, right?
Yeah, I've quit my job already.
Nice. And I'm sure you quit your job with all the bets that you've made, right? All the parlays.
Damon, as Paul Heyman would say on the Super J-Cast, we don't make predictions. We give spoilers.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. So I made a deposit as well. So I used my bookie to bet on a little NHL playoffs this weekend. That's right. And a big payout for myself. Thank you, Golden Knights of Las Vegas, for that. And how did I do that? Well, I used the code SuperJ at my bookie and made my deposit. And bingo, bango, boom, cashed in. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look for the read because I can't find it in my notes.
I knew you were stalling.
I am stalling like no one's business. So what I need for Joel to do is to send me the copy, and then I'm going to give that the great Damon read that only I can. But know that you've got the NBA playoffs. They're in mid swing. You got baseball coming right around the corner with their playoff system, their wild card system. The NFL, which is always a hot ticket when it comes to laying down some odds, picking your
Got the
favorites
Premier League
to win.
starting as well this
Premier
weekend.
League starting as
I'm
well.
expecting big things from Arsenal and Mikel Arteta's.
Yep.
I think we might be able to do it this year. I think we could be able to sneak our way into the top 4. We've got the Community Shield in the bag. We've got the FA Cup in the bag. And I think maybe a cheeky little bit of money on the old Arsenal making it into the Champions League spot. So
Yeah?
definitely
All right.
one to look into, my bookie.
Listen, I'm right there with you. Listen, it's saying it's summertime, but we know summertime, Labor Day in the United States is kind of the unofficial end of summertime, Joel. But at my bookie, that can only mean one thing. It's not about the temperature outside. It's about a winning season at my bookie. That's right, a winning season for you. Winning season means doubling your first deposit. How about that? Winning season means free bets, super contests, survivor pools, and more. At my bookie, winning season is all about your chance to win big. Again, we talked about it. The NBA playoffs, right? They're in full swing. NHL playoffs, the cup's going to be given away real soon. I won some money with my bookie as well. Major League Baseball, they're doing their countdown to the playoffs. UFC, right? Joel just mentioned Premier League returning. NFL football. Look, it's all over. The craziest sports time of your life. It's here. Simple. Here's what you do. Make your picks. You win big. You collect your cash, just like I did. Invest in your sports intuition. Listen, we have a Discord channel. We talk all about sports, and a lot of people yapping away in that Discord about what they know and what they don't. Well, now here, put your money where your mouth is. Put your money where your mouth is. Invest in your intuition. Select from hundreds of future bets, or you could even bet on games. How about this? In real time with MyBookie's live betting. Now, put that big brain of yours to good use. Use the promo code SuperJ, and double your first deposit. That's pretty great. SuperJ, double your first deposit. New players, you get up to $1,000 in free play, designed to add a little bit more excitement to the sports you love and the games that you bet. Thousands of cross-sport wagers, props, parlays. They're waiting right for you. So get on it. Sign up now. Bet with the best and celebrate your victory. Your winning season begins today only at MyBookie. Super J is what you want to put in for that promo code. Again, double your first deposit. Only at our friends at MyBookie.
Well, it looks like Bullet Club are the winners of this match, so my prediction is halfway there.
Yeah, we could have won some money there. Maybe some parlay. We could have parlayed the junior tag team champ. Are they taking odds on G1? That's a question. Is my bookie going to hop in on the G1 action? Is what I want to know.
Let's dip into the results of the most recent Fighting Spirit Unleashed show, which was on Friday, September the 4th. So we had a few matches here. I'm not going to go match by match, but let's just discuss the show as a whole. In the opening match, we had Alex Zane and the debuting Fred Rosser defeating the DKC and Clark Connors in 7 minutes 33 seconds. It was Fred Rosser who pinned the DKC with the gut check. Second match was Carl Fredericks getting a big singles win over Mysterioso at 6 minutes 47 with the MD. Third match was Hiku Leo defeating Brody King in the Battle of the Big Boys in 7 minutes 35 seconds with the Gunslinger. And the main event was Jay White defeating Flip Gordon in 10 minutes 22 with the Blade Runner. First of all, Damon, there was a lot of hype over Fred Rosser's debut.
Yes.
Didn't do much for me, I have to admit. If you were to put a gun to my head and say, tell me one thing Fred Rosser did in that match, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
I got the win. Right? Didn't he get the win? You got the win, right?
Yes, he did.
All right, there's one thing. No, it was not a spectacular debut, but I don't know if I really expected a lot of fireworks, so to speak. I thought he was solid. I don't think he was. I don't think he dragged down a match or anything. Again, what I said last week was, and it still holds true today. I don't think that we'll see Fred Rosser traveling to Japan to be on big shows. I don't think we're going to see him challenging for the Intercontinental title. I don't even think we'll see him in, the dark match Rumble. But here's what we have: we have an opportunity to see what the dude's got, right? And if it's a win, if it turns out to be something special or a diamond in the rough or a surprise, something that we didn't know that we had, great. And again, I think that's what this show can do. It's a great way for guys to get some work that might fly a little bit under the New Japan radar. Get them in a ring and see what we got, and then we can offer contracts and stuff like that. So, I don't necessarily think this was a tryout match, but in some ways it was a tryout match. Nothing that was memorable. Nothing that was going to knock your socks off. But in a way, I'm kind of glad, right? I mean, let me ask you this: would you rather have a debut like Fred Rosser had, or if you were Matt Sydal making him? You know what I mean?
I knew that was coming. I knew you couldn't resist.
What? You know what I mean? Like, what debut would you prefer? I think I would prefer the former Darren Young's debut, personally. But to each his own.
I think it was also important for Carl Fredericks to get a singles win there, because so far in these US shows, it's been close but no cigar for him. He's not quite able to beat Jeff Cobb, not quite able to beat Kenta. So quite smart booking to have him getting a win in quite short order against Mysterioso. So I think that was smart. And were you surprised that Hikuleo got the win over Brody King?
Yeah, and he kind of looked like he, I don't want to say dominated the match, but it looked like he, I don't know, like if there's that scale of who, it felt like Brody King was there to put over Hikuleo. Let's put it that way, and that kind of surprised me. It wasn't like a jobber squash match, but I don't know. I kind of felt like Hikuleo was more dominant to me at the end of the day and got the win. It kind of surprised me a little bit. Is Brody King a guy that you're surprised? Well, I mean, look, pandemic. You got to make cuts. But I mean, I just remember Brody King being a guy that everybody talked about wanting to see in G1. But
yeah, that's what I mean. And now he's losing to Hikuleo. And I think, Hikuleo is very talented. So I'm excited to see that the company are behind him. So I'm interested to see what's going on with Hikuleo going forward. But I was surprised the fact that Hikuleo's been clearly positioned above Brody King.
Did you get the same feelings as I did during that match, though? Like it was like this was a show. I don't know if I want to go so far as to say a showcase match, but it did feel like Hikuleo was there to win and Brody King was there to lose, right?
Yes, and I wonder if that's just the fact that Hikuleo is a New Japan guy and Brody King is an ROH guy.
I mean, maybe it's as simple as that. But I was a little bit shocked at that. Okay, and then what was it? Flip and Jay White, right?
Yep. That weird match as we discussed last week, where you're not quite sure who you're supposed to be cheering for. But yeah, pretty straightforward win for Jay White, as he said afterwards. Barely even broke a sweat, barely out of breath. Seems like, in retrospect, just a little warm-up win for him before he rocks into the G1 climax.
Yeah, it was a good match. It was fine. This show was a little weird, I thought. You had a lot of things on paper that, I don't know. I think I'm kind of getting used to the show, and it really reminds me of like an ROH show, doesn't it? Doesn't it feel like you're watching? Like I had to remind myself a lot that I'm watching New Japan. I lose that. I feel like, again, I'm watching, the best analogy I can give is I feel like I'm watching Ring of Honor many times. And I lose myself that, oh, yeah, I'm actually, this is a New Japan Pro Wrestling show.
Kind of reminds me of like watching WWF back in the day, like a Sunday Night Heat or something like that, where it's very fun, easy to watch. Matches are all pretty short, nothing outstays its welcome, but at the same time, you don't really remember much afterwards.
Right, and I was kind of hoping it would be, and I know it's hard to do because they're taping a lot of these shows in advance, so they're doing 3 weeks of tapings in one shot. But it has been done in the history of pro wrestling, so let's not make too many excuses here. I was kind of hoping it would be a little bit more episodic television as opposed to here are 3 matches on this show. Right?
You mean you're looking for sort of long-term storylines?
Yeah.
With continuity, yeah?
Yeah, I kind of did. Like, these are... I kind of felt like you got a taste of that, especially when, that debut show where we're talking about, how it felt like we were building stars to go out there and be the cornerstone like Carl Fredericks. I don't know if I get that same taste anymore. Again, I feel like I'm watching one of the criticisms that I had of Ring of Honor was I knew I was going to watch some pretty decent matches, but I felt like I was just watching pretty decent matches that maybe I created a playlist or something. I kind of was hoping this would I don't know. And again, maybe this is just me projecting my wants and not really getting that itch scratched. But I thought we were going to get a little bit more of a territory. And again, a little bit more continuity and a little bit more continuality within the shows. And I don't know if I feel that. And again, bear in mind.
Maybe there's something on this Friday's show that might change your mind. Let me read the card to you, and you tell me if there's anything that you think shows that kind of continuity. So first match, we've got ACH and TJP against Logan Regal and Adrian Quest. So I'm excited to see ACH in action, as always. Let me just let my darling wife and daughter into the room. I will be right back.
Please. All right. There they are, the stars of the show, the true stars of the show, making an appearance.
You want to go to
I wonder what they think about G1.
Okay, I'm back.
No, I was just talking with our listeners. Imagine Mally's G1's predictions. I wonder what her hot takes were. I wonder if she can give any insight on Block A.
We'll get her on the show for the pick'ems next week. See how she does. Second match, we had Rocky Romero going up against Danny Limelight. Again, I think there's a bit of a story there. They've been facing off in the tag matches, and that's one that I'm interested to see. Third match, PJ Black and David Finlay against Tangaloa and Tama Tonga. So again, that's picking up the long-term storyline because, of course, FinJuice were feuding with Gorillas Destiny over the tag titles earlier in the year. Obviously, at the time of recording, Juice Robinson was injured, so that's why Finley's team with PJ Black. But Finley does have history with the GOD boys. And then the fourth match is the IWGP US Heavyweight Right to Challenge contract with Kenta defending his briefcase against Jeff Cobb. And again, that's a story that has some backstory to it because, in the New Japan Cup, we had Kenta having to do some cheating and ref bumps to get the win over Jeff Cobb. So is that more to your liking, or do you think I'm clutching at straws there?
Well, here's the problem. It's like you have to be a fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling to kind of get those under the surface storylines, right? Those are all things and little breadcrumb things that can help, tell a story. And if you're a fan of the product, you would see that and get that and know that and et cetera. I guess I'm looking for a little bit more, a little less subtle in a sense of I kind of want to see, all right, I don't know, pick fucking somebody. Clark Connors beats DKC and then gets on the mic and says, okay, Carl Fredericks, you're a fucking piece of shit because you did this, that, and the other thing, and blah, blah, blah. And the next week, he does another promo. Carl Fredericks, and then he jumps Carl Fredericks a week later. And now we got some fucking things going on between Carl Fredericks and you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of shit I'm looking for. Not, oh yeah, I beat this guy 4 weeks ago in a tag match I don't know. I'm kind of looking for maybe a little bit more old school territory wrestling.
A bit more
Again.
entertainment and less of the sports.
I mean, you can have the sports, but just give me like that. I mean, maybe it's too simplistic nowadays, but just give me. Here's the reason why I'm fighting you, as opposed to. Let's have an athletic competition together. And I know that's me saying that, which is strange.
I agree. I totally agree with you.
You know, it doesn't have to get comical. I mean, I don't want backstage vignettes, and I don't want, but there's a way to do it where, okay, I don't know, Kevin Kelly's given an interview, and maybe you can't do that with social distancing. I don't know, but I just kind of felt we had an opportunity to have something a little bit special. Look, here's what I wanted. I wanted fucking NWA power. That's what I wanted. I felt like they had the right idea for a moment or two. That's what I'm looking for, and I thought we were going to get with New Japan. And that's all on me. I mean, nobody, said we're doing this, and they pulled the rug from underneath. I just thought this would be a great opportunity to capitalize on that, and it didn't happen. So I'm a little disappointed, but it's my own disappointment. I worked myself into that.
JC Wright says, speaking of commentary, do you guys agree that Kozlov is starting to come into his own on Strong? I agree it was awkward to begin with, but he low-key makes me chuckle, and for sure he's in no way overproduced.
Well, that's for sure. Right? There's nobody in his ear. What did I see somewhere? Kevin Kelly is the dog whisperer of struggling color comedy.
Yeah, I saw that. That was hilarious.
I did see that. He does. He does seem like he really turns chicken salad from what I'm trying to say.
Could have been worse, Kevin. If you're listening, could have been much worse.
Yeah. Oh, imagine that. Jeez. I think look. I think people don't understand how difficult it is to be good doing that. It's not something where people can just put on a fucking microphone and do it. And if they can do that, then they're talented. So while I think it's easy for us to sit back and be like, "What the fuck did he say?" or "That makes no sense," or "That was silly," or "That seemed contrived." It's harder to do, and I think and I would agree that it's gotten better. I don't think it's one of the best, but it's not as awkward as the first shows, and I think you learn as you go at something like that. You get more comfortable. You know when to hop in. I mean, it's just like with us, you build chemistry, and any good broadcast team does that. So. I think we've seen improvements, yes.
Let's have maybe a couple of questions.
Right.
Nicole, Booze Leprechaun says, Damon, who do we talk to about organising a cleansing ceremony in the Phillies bullpen?
They stink, Joel. Joel, imagine having a powerhouse offense. Like you have guys that when they step up to the plate, baseball, we're talking here, there's always a threat of runs. The Phillies have absolutely zero problems scoring runs. So their starting pitcher, gets a little tired. We got to take him out. We're going to go to relief pitcher, right? So here comes this fucking bum coming out of the bullpen, and we could be up. There is no save for leave with the Philadelphia Phillies. We could be up by 7 runs, and here comes some fucking bum coming out of the bullpen. And next thing you know, tie ball game. You're like, what the fuck? And this is constantly, Joel. They're horrible. They're horrible. And I honestly think we could get out there and do a better job than the Phillies bullpen. They stink on ice.
All right. Well, let's. I don't know. I'm reluctant to end the podcast before this main event is finished because I want to see who's getting through to the finals. Although I suspect I'm going to be correct. I suspect it is going to be Suzuki-gun who win it and setting up a rematch between these two teams on Friday.
Do some more questions. I know you got a full house there right now, but we can get another question till the end of this match. Sure, good.
Mally, I'm going to keep answering questions until you tell me you would like me to stop, and we'll go to Villa Market. Okay? Mally 1. I'm going to keep answering listener questions until you say you've had enough and you would like us to leave and go to Villa Market, okay?
It's up to you, honey.
She says it's up to you. It's not really up to me. Dan says...
Two or three questions.
Who's aged better, Ibushi at 38 years old or Kojima, who turns 50 next month? Also have to throw Tanahashi in the mix, who turns 44 in November. And how do we feel about the potential unification of the lineal champion and KOPW champion when Fale eventually gets back to Japan?
The lineal champion, yeah. I guess Fale still has that, right? Yeah, technically you're right. I just can't get over that fucking trophy that they gave for that KOPW. That is just an embarrassment. I think Tanahashi had higher quality matches at a older age, right? Like Tanahashi's 40. Tanahashi at 40, I think, will be better than if you look at it in history. My prediction, we don't know. We will be better than Ibushi when he turns 40, and better than Kojima's 40. So if we're just looking at 40, I think Tanahashi's got them beat, right? 4 years ago, Tanahashi was pretty fucking spectacular. He still is spectacular, but not 4 years ago. So if I'm going to take one, I'm taking Tanahashi's 40 over what potentially could be Ibushi's 40 and what Kojima's 40 was.
All right, I'm going to wrap it up there because I'm going to go with my wonderful family to the supermarket and buy some groceries. And let's just assume that I was correct and that Suzuki Gun are going to win to set up a rematch against LIJ on Friday, which Suzuki Gun are also going to win the title. So there you go. There's my prediction.
There you go.
All right. So again, thank you to MyBookie for sponsoring us. MyBookie/SuperJ is the code that you can use to get all those wonderful benefits. redcircle.com/shows/super-j-cast for our page if you want to give us some money. Discord link is in the show notes if you want to join all the people arguing about G1 inclusions there. ProWrestlingTees.com/superjcast for our great t-shirts. Thanks as always to editor Dan on Twitter at LousyHero219. Subscribe to Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network for other great shows. Give us a 5-snake review on iTunes. You can follow us on Twitter at the SuperJcast. Thank you everyone for listening, and goodbye.